Hello, I'm Brian Tracy, and thank you for attending this introduction to iLearning Global. I want to tell you that the technology that you're seeing this on is not the true technology. The true technology is on the site, and it's for people who become members. So this is kind of our advanced technology. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I started off humbly. I didn't graduate from high school. I sometimes joke and say I finished high school in the half of the class that makes the top half possible. And I worked at laboring jobs for several years, and then I got into sales and struggled. And then I began asking a question that changed my life. And the question was, why is it that some people are more successful than others? Why is it that if everybody starts off at the same, everybody starts off with the same opportunities and education, and yet over the course of time, some people move way ahead and they become 100,000-aires and millionaires and multimillionaires, but the great majority of people make very little progress at all. And I began to study the subject, and I read books and articles, and I went to courses and so on. And I met a very wise man some years ago. He was 89 years old. He'd spent more than 50 years studying success. He had come up with 1,000 success principles, which he'd written into 4 books. And I asked him, of all these success principles, because I'd read his stuff, what's the most important principle you ever learned? And what he said was, learn from the experts. He said the key to success is to learn from the experts. And I remember him smiling and saying, Brian, you'll never live long enough to learn it all by yourself. And that's the key, is all successful people learn from the experts. Which brings us to what we call the law of continuous learning. The law of continuous learning says that to earn more, you must learn more. In other words, you have maxed out, you've reached the ceiling of what you can accomplish in your life today with your current level of knowledge and skill. If you could do more with your current level of knowledge and skill, you would, but you can't. You've got to take in new knowledge and skill. Now, you've heard of the Pareto principle, which says that 20% of the people make 80% of the money. This has been true for hundreds of years. In every society, if you took all the money and you divided it up by everybody equally within a year, 20% of the people would have 80% of the money. What this means is that the bottom 80% of the people have 20% of the money, and they have to struggle for the crumbs that fall off the tables of the top 20%. Now, your job is to be in the top 20%. Now, recent research on this subject, and it's starting to pour out of the universities and think tanks, says that the income increase of people in the bottom 80% is an average of about 1% per year over inflation. In other words, people have a job which stands for just over broke. In other words, they never get a hit. They work their whole lives and they worry about money their whole lives. But here's what they have found is the average income increase of people in the top 20%, those who are continually upgrading their skills, is approximately 11% per year. That means that their increase is phenomenal. Now, the biggest problem in our economy today is not an income gap, it's a skills gap. And your job is to fill the skills gap. People who continually upgrade their skills move to the top of their fields, and people who don't move at all. Now, here's the second reason you should be involved. First of all, continuous learning. Second of all, is ILG has the best technology in the world today. We call it high-definition television. Full screen, no loading. It's exactly what you have on a plasma screen. You have immediate access 24/7 to the best video-based learning programs in the world. Now, today, if you want a piece of information, you say, well, why don't you go to the computer and Google it? Tomorrow, they will say, if you need to learn a new subject, go to the computer and iLearn it. iLearning is the beginning of $1 billion learning industry, and you can be part of it. Why is it that video is so important? Because there's 22 times the number of nerves from the eye to the brain as from the ear to the brain. In other words, you see it and hear it, you learn at 22 times the speed than if you read it or just listen to an audio program. iLearning Global will soon be the preeminent learning portal on the internet in the world.